So chapter 13 is about solutions. This talks about thirsty solutions and why you shouldn't drink seawater. I don't know that anybody's really tempted to drink seawater unless you're stranded out on the ocean and you have nothing to drink and you get powerfully thirsty, you're surrounded by water, and it could be tempting. But if you drink seawater, you'll actually become more dehydrated than if you didn't drink any water at all. We call seawater a thirsty solution. It draws more water into itself. Seawater is a solution. Solutions are composed of two components, a solvent and one or more solutes. So the solvent is the major component. The solute would be everything else, all the other components, and those would be smaller in quantity in general. So here we have an illustration of seawater, very simplistic. Here we have water molecules and sodium and chloride ions. There are also a lot of other ions in seawater, but this is the primary substance. So this would be the solute, sodium chloride, and the solvent is water. A solution is a homogeneous mixture. So it doesn't have layers or distinguishable pieces in it. It looks like a single substance, but it's a mixture of two or more substances. Nature has a tendency towards spontaneous mixing, unless such mixing is highly unfavorable in an energy sense. So here we have an illustration of a tank of water. There's a dividing barrier here, and on one side is pure water, and on the other side is salty water. And I think we can all predict what would happen if you carefully take this divider out and just leave it alone. It will take some time, but the pure water here and the salty water here will gradually mix until you have a uniform concentration, and it's all going to be somewhat salty. Does anybody have any questions about that? You could speed the process up by stirring it, but even if you don't stir it, it'll mix together. If you drink seawater, here we have an illustration of part of your intestinal tract. So this is the interior of your body cells, and this is inside your intestine, the salt water. Your cells are surrounded by semi-permeable membranes, which allow some things to pass and other things they block. So water is allowed to pass through these membranes, but sodium ions and chloride ions are not. So here we have salt water. This is at a higher concentration than the salt that is in the cells of your body. You have salty water in your body, but it's not as concentrated as the seawater. So the water, nature is trying to mix these and have everything be the same concentration. And so water is drawn out from your cells into your intestines. I think of it as in an effort to dilute that salt water. And so drinking salt water actually pulls more water out of your body. You'd be better off not drinking anything. Any questions?